We are live. Let's just see if anyone arrives. Really dry mouth today. Keep drinking. It's very cleansing and detoxifying. Hey Rosie, good morning lovely. How you doing? Let's give you a little wave. I've just arrived. Hope you're well. Hey Chelsea. Hey hun, how you doing? Let's give you a bit of a wave. I just sound feeling a bit dry. I don't know, because it's hey lovely. Don't know if it's because the weather's changed. But yeah, really needing to kind of hydrate. So hey Chelsea hun, how you doing? Somebody asked me why I'm not coming on regularly as in at a particular date and time of the week. And I'm a very kind of spontaneous, act in the moment kind of person. And I was thinking of coming on. Oh, so good. Glad I made it. Okay, hun. I'm glad you're here. Yeah, and I just can't do anything other than spontaneity. I'm not a very good planner, and I think if I'm going to speak from the heart, if I'm going to speak through my true authentic self, then unfortunately it has to be spontaneous and very ad hoc. So I was thinking about it yesterday. I just wasn't in the right frame of mind and body energetically, and so today I'm here. So I wanted to come on today because something really special came through, and I'm just going to trust that this is going to land with you as well. The reason for coming on today is to talk a little bit about trusting your inner instinct, trusting your gut. We kind of have so many messages within ourselves that want to be heard. Based on, when you think about, and everything is energy, right? We are all energy. We're all atoms, molecules in the air. We're all made of the same stuff, essentially. We all come from the same tiny, tiny atom, molecule, etc. And energy's always moving. Yeah, energy is always moving. It never stops. And so when you think about your intuition, you think about your gut feelings, you think about what your inner feelings are like, what's going on in your heart. The same is for your higher self. These are all just you, and they are all just energy. And because energy is always moving, you're always getting messages. The messages never stop. The messages come, we have a pathway running through the body. We're connected to source above. We're connected to Mother Earth below us. It's all one continuous transmission, up the body, down the body, up the body, down the body. And our bodies, our physical body, energetic body, mental body, all of these forms of which are essentially energy. The physical body is a denser frequency than our energy body, which is a lighter frequency. They're all in communication all the time. And the reason I wanted to share this is because during this time we are very much being asked to listen more deeply to what our inner self is saying, what our gut is telling us, what those messages, the whispers, what they are sharing with you. And those messages will come from, seemingly feel like they're coming from outside in. They'll feel like they are calling you at night. essentially they're calling you all the time. They're always in transmission. They're always calling for you to activate something within you. And because we're in this time when we are, you know, in retreat, we are in retreat within. I've spoken about this before. And we're not being allowed to not see, hear, feel those messages. And you might find that these messages are coming through more prominently now, more clearly. And I think it is definitely just because of where we're at in the collective, the energy that's going on. And, you know, tell me if this is happening to you. I'm really interested to know if you're feeling this sense of a greater awareness of what's going on within. I feel it means that people who really need to hear this will make this. It's all about the vibes. Yes, it is lovely. Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. So I wanted to share a little bit about my current story. So I have, for weeks and weeks and weeks now, been receiving messages from, you know, from my higher self, from my cosmic team. And I've always known that they were there. I never knew them as deeply as I do now. You're feeling that too, Rosie. Yeah, beautiful. And what's happening is that it's because I'm listening to the messages, because I'm taking my time every day to open my Akashic records, spend more time with my cosmic team to understand more. And in terms of my current timeline, you know, I've been working with Archangel Metatron for a few months now. That is a very high frequency compared to where the frequency that I was working with before. So we kind of all think, you know, it's about ascension. And I was introduced to what I now know to be the Dominion. The Dominion for me, because we all have our team on this, in this life, in the ether, universally. For me, the Dominion are, without any shadow of a doubt, getting me to step out of my place of security, my sense of contentment, my place, my comfort place. And, you know, I haven't spoken a lot about this because it's involving me to own my truth without having this fear of being ridiculed or, you know, people having an opinion. And it doesn't matter what people have, but it's calling me to step into my light more profoundly, if you like. And this is what retreat is giving all of us. Is a deeper look at who we are, what we're here to do, and to, you know, be unapologetic when the whispers, when the team, when our gut feeling says we should be doing something and we're afraid to do it. So for instance, I've been channeling the Dominion. The Dominion are very tall, long beings, galactic beings. I call them the Dominion. They might be something else to someone else. I just don't know. It doesn't matter what they're called. But I've been asked to come on here today to just JFDI. Just do it, because it's not serving me or anyone else not to share this information. So they've been supporting me to open my Akashic records on a deeper level. The Akashic records are your soul blueprint from all past lives, current lives, all laid down in this unified field, in the Akashic field. And what I've discovered with, you know, ritually sitting down and going into my records is finding out all sorts of things about who I am and why I struggle with things like speaking in public to big crowds, why it is that I struggle with, not struggle, but I observe that if I put weight on, for example, that weight goes around my lower abdomen, and I see that in my sister, my parents, my mum, my grandmother, and so on, all the way down the line. And I've been conscious of all of this, kind of conscious about all of this in the past, but I'm really conscious about it now because I can see the symbolism of what this means in this life and what my soul wants me to work on with regard to these things. So I'm scooting around a bit. There's actually 2 stories there, and I'm only going to share one today, with the objective of saying to you, really just need to trust yourself. Just trust the intuitive hits, and go with it, and not have any expectation about what it means or what will come of it. That bit is irrelevant. It's about having trust and faith. So coming back to me with public speaking, I thought to myself, well, you know, and I can speak like this, but if you put me in a room with 200 plus people, you know, I can feel, and I've done speaking gigs before, and I've had to really go through the breath work, center myself in order to deliver. But during the process, I get this really tight throat, and I couldn't see what that meant. I couldn't understand what that was all about. And with the Dominion's help, reading my own personal Akashic record, I can see that in a past life, I had my jaw broken. I was a warrior. I was the leader of this army, male. I had a male energy. I was male. And I had this huge responsibility for this vast army. And in battle, I had my jaw broken. So my jaw broke, and the message I got was that some of my tongue was missing. But basically, I was quite young at this point. It didn't kill me. So I had this problem, this condition, this, you know, suffering, if you like, within me, that meant that I couldn't speak. So I couldn't shout orders, I couldn't direct people. And so, you know, your voice is such a big thing, particularly if you're dealing with an army, you know, of 200 plus people. I've just been getting all of this, like, wow, okay, I completely understand this. So can you imagine not being able to speak? And I'd gone through that whole life, decades and decades, till my old age, with this condition, this problem, that meant that I couldn't speak. And so I so much wanted to still be the leader and be in this identity of you know, it's important to me. And, you know, of course, somebody that runs an army needs to be a strong leader with a voice. And I couldn't do that. And I hadn't realised that that's what was going on. When I was a child, I used to not want to stand out. I used to sit in the playground, sit at school, never say a word. I could not say a word because I didn't want to be exposed. And there's something about this exposure that's a lesson for me in this life. Exposure and independence, having an independent lesson, having a lesson around standing on my own 2 feet. Now, whatever that looks like, it's just me, but being in a truly embodied, empowered state and fully owning it. And so I've been piecing these things together, trusting what's being received down the pathway within me, down into the ground, this complete connection to source. And yes, being a little bit afraid and going, oh my gosh, what's coming next? But what it's done is I've found all of this information out. I've never moved through my day or start my day from anything other than a place of gut feel and inspired and aligned action. I've created my new website. I got my website up and live last week on Friday. The messages I'm receiving from the Dominion is that I'm to open the Akashic records for other people now. And so I just get a JFDI. I'm like, what are you doing? Just do this, because it's so incredibly healing. It's liberating. Can you imagine liberating yourself from lifetimes of things that you weren't actually consciously aware of? Yes, your heart and soul was aware of it. Your soul's carried it through. But how awesome can it be to get so much clarity on a situation that you thought was so debilitating? It's like, oh gosh, that's just how I am. I probably had this big problem. Something must have happened to me as a youngster that stopped me from talking. Well, for me, I don't know how many lifetimes ago this was, but I'm clear, and through that knowing, I'm clearing that debris. I'm clearing that healing. Oh, thanks, Chelsea. Congratulations on the website. Yeah, that's been healing, that's been clearing, that's been clarifying, that's been cleansing, all the C's. So to integrate this into my work already, to have an extra dimension to healing for people, is just such a beautiful thing, a blessed thing to have and to be able to offer. And so I'm going to start to offer those from June, and it's going to be Akashic Records reading. We jump into your Akashic record. There'll probably be only 6 to 8 sessions in June as I integrate this into my work already and my current work commitments with clients. And if you're a client already, then you'd have Akashic Records readings integrated anyway. But if you wanted to dive into your own Akashic Records, then June would be the day, the month to do that with me. We can do it together. So, even if you're interested in that, beautiful, great. If you're interested, the slots are going to open within the next week, and they're going to start from June. The only way to get a reading is to sign up to my newsletter on the front page of the website. So then I can email out, once I've got the slots fixed in my diary, I'll email that out to the list, and first come, first serve. So that's how that is going to work. But coming back to I'll book in for that, Sam. That's beautiful, Rosie. I look forward to that. So coming back to the point I'm making is that trust the messages that you are receiving. You will be receiving far more messages than you are currently aware of. And what I'm receiving, what I'm downloading, hey Juliet, what I'm receiving, what I'm downloading, the messages I'm getting from the Dominion is that, we here in this group are highly involved souls. We are empathic. We have a sensitive, nurturing side. We have an intuitive side. And, I know everybody here in this group, and I know some of you more deeply than others of you. And so I just feel I can, reading the energy of the group, I know that we all have gifts that we are not currently using. And so the message is, what is your gift? What is the thing that's hiding deep in the depths of the belly deep in the depths of the heart that is calling you. What is calling you? And it might not seem logical. It might not seem possible even. But it is. It absolutely is. So I pulled a card. And the card that came out, I used the Metatron deck, the beautiful Metatron deck today. Because he has been the orchestrator of all of this next stage in my personal evolution. So I'm going to thank his energy for that. But the card I pulled was card 2, Rest and Reflection. Number 2 is the card of your intuition, of your inner self, your deep, dark, not dark, but deep, deep sense of knowing. So it is time for more time out needed, rest and reflection. I mean, look at that beautiful full moon showing in that lake. Choose your way to listen to those messages more deeply. It might mean that you take more time to meditate instead of 10 minutes, half an hour worth of meditation. It might be that you firm up rituals around sleep. And if anybody's got any questions on this, post them below, because I've got lots of tips. Rituals for setting yourself up before you go to bed, before you open yourself up to a protected but deep dream state where you can read and receive messages. It might be that you go and walk into nature more. Maybe instead of twice a day, once a day, twice a day, you sit on the veranda, or you take a walk, you watch the birds, you hear the birds, but use all of those senses, and not ignore the signs. Not ignoring the signs. The signs could be whispers, and the whispers generally mean that those are your gut speaking, your intuition speaking to you. Somebody asked me recently, how do you tell what messages are yours from your intuition? Hey Natalia, how you doing, honey? Natalia, I'm calling you Natalia. Nat. Yeah, so somebody asked me recently, how do you tell whether a message you're receiving is a message from, your gut, from your higher self, from your intuition, from being connected and aligned to source, from your cosmic team, your angels and guides, versus your ego, your brain, your mind. And I just want to say, it sounds like I've lumped all of those energetic beings together, the inner self, the sixth sense, the higher self, the angels and guides, whatever. To me, that is all the same thing. They're all the same thing. It's energy that is creative energy, that's the source, the soul of who you are. The ego is, this is just my opinion, obviously, this is my belief system, is that the ego is the conversation that goes on in the mind that, for me, and this is just personal, probably you may align with this, is something that sits just outside me. Now, it might be that through my belief system, I've trained myself that my inner knowing is my inner knowing, and it's in here. My ego, my brain sits out here talking into me. I don't know, that's how I just receive it. The ego mind is a very dense energy. Of course, it's still energy, but to me, it's really dense. It's dense and it's heavy. And when it has a conversation, hey Amy hun, when it has a conversation with me, it is heavy. It's here, I'd love to hear your views on this. It's here and it's loud and it's heavy. It's dense. It's persuasive. It's domineering. Egotistical. Stubborn. Loud. It's loud. The messages, the conversations, the gut feel, the intuition. All right, Chelsea, you have a beautiful day as well. See you soon. Thanks for watching. My intuition, messages from higher self, are delicate. They're light. Think of fairies. Think of dragonflies. Think of angels. Think of this lightness that is almost like, you know, when a butterfly lands on your hand, you know it's there, but you can't really feel it. Of course it's there. It's like clear as day there. You can feel its energy. You're aware of the beauty of it. You can receive that into you. It's like, oh wow, this is so amazing, this piece of nature, but you can't actually feel it. It's almost like a tickle. That's how I receive messages from source, from my intuition. They're light, they're whispers, they are always loving. It's loving, it's happy energy. It's so delicate, and you can miss them. You can miss them. It's like the opposites. You've got a sledgehammer on one side, which is the brain, and then the feather on the other, which is your intuition, your gut feel, your messages from higher self, and your connection to source. And it just takes a little bit of practice to go, okay, who's this talking right now? Is this my ego? And it's generally a denser, lower energy in the mind. It certainly is for me. If I'm tuning into my higher self, then it's just above the head. It's almost like it's tickling the top of my head, and it sort of comes over the top. Yeah, that's just my personal experience. So how do you know what your intuition is? Can you tell the difference between the mind, the ego mind, and the heart, the soul speaking? Yeah, let me know. Let me know. If you've got any questions, just ask me below. Let me know below, and I'll happily have another chat about this another time. But for now, plenty of rest and reflection required. Review. I said rest. Interesting. Review and reflection. Because there's a lot of shifting going on right now. Exciting times, and it's going to require some faith, particularly if it's something that's so left field. You're like, why have I got this coming into my to my experience? You know, and it might come through from conversations, from friends, from situations falling away that you've got no control over. It can come from so many ways. The soul, the connection to the universal, the unified field, all that is. If there's something for you, it's not going to pass you, and there will be so many different ways that messages will come to you, and so many synchronicities that will arrive, that that will keep arriving, and it will find different ways to find you in order to be seen and heard. So I was trying to think. I was going to tell you that story, but it's probably going to get a bit late now. So we've been half an hour. So I hope that was helpful. I hope that was really helpful. I hope you enjoyed it. If you've got any questions, anything that you're curious about, that we want to have a chat about in the next live, then pop them below. And as I say, if you want to be involved in Akashic record readings, and you want me to read for you, then just go to the front page, the home page of my website, samanthalennytherapy.com, and just sign up to the newsletter on there, because you're welcome, Rosie, you're welcome. And yeah, that's the way that I will be doing bookings going forward. All right, ladies, have a beautiful day. Enjoy your day. Yeah, love every moment of it. Appreciate every moment and have some fun. Thank you for watching.